part 2. But let's continue. Now watch them prove what I just said true. Quote, but a book explaining ballot measures to voters included arguments against it, even though there was no organized opposition. Stop. Bingo. Stealth and under the radar, just like they said. All of a sudden, within a book explaining the measures on the ballot, there are arguments against taking the law off the books. And obviously, the opposition is strong enough to have it written within a state-generated periodical. Now I want to prove just how well their stealth camouflage works. How? By using the re-educated thoughts about the common white man that's in your own head and perception at this very minute against you. As you know, I'm mind melding with you, and I can hear what you are truly thinking. The brother over here is saying, sure, there are always some rotten apples in the barrel, but the majority are God-fearing Christians. And this sister over here is saying, I make $75K a year. I got my own everything. The white man helped me when the black man couldn't. This don't apply to me. And I hear someone else saying, I look at TBN all the time, and all the big churches on it. I never saw one single word of what this scribe character is talking about. With one of your children saying, how am I going to tell my mama I got my stepsister, best friend, baby daddy, brother, cousin pregnant? You know, her name Peaches. Well, I can't help you with that last one, bro. But as far as the others, first, that is what magic and witchcraft is all about, people. The confidence game. Bait and switch. Look over here while I do the trick over here type stuff. Haven't you noticed? The Christian cable station is available on every cable provider, even though you don't even have cable at all? Am I the only one to find that interesting? The reason being, the big churches are the evildoers' fronts. You know, what they want the world to perceive they are all about. But within the belly of the beast, right around the testicles actually, they have the power to give life to the other little beast. In this case, smaller satellite churches, independent churches, snake handler churches, nationalist churches, etc. being born, and as we read in the last video, are coming up with cash to grow extremely fast. Saying all of that, even though you thought America has turned the racism corner and the common white man has been domesticated into submission to your gay and civil rights will, check out how the last part of this article is written and tell me if you perceive the same thing I perceive. Quote, out of nearly 2.3 million ballots cast, no is leading. It's possible the margin will be so close that the state will conduct a recount. Example. So, well, what do you know? Maybe you don't know the common white man as well as you thought you did. Question. What happens when you get the best of the white man? Does he tuck his tail and submit? Or does he gain support and come at you again in a different angle at a time you are not prepared for him to come back at you? Meaning, by these numbers and a close count, it makes no difference if it wins or not this term. The battleground has been set. But indirectly on the colors themselves though, I'm starting to see all that the white Christians are doing is uploading the Mexicans and gays into their Southern strategy evildoer machine. And the colors are the expected, intended collateral damage. The evildoers have used reverse engineering on my people. See, by giving them the illusion of freedom instead of allowing them to realize they only have free range, the evildoers have ensured and ensnared Israel into a continuous cycle of anxiety. and in the process, weaken our wisdom, thus elevating our foolishness so that we are not prepared to endure the end, to the end. Let me explain. Now that you have the feeling of freedom and civil rights, you somehow, in some way, think you have the same rights as Mr. Charlie or the nations. And that is not the case whatsoever. The parents are teaching children their dreams, and by that same process, and out of sheer ignorance, rejecting our God-given reality. This is the reason why so many of our children are dying by the hands of those who Yah cursed to hate them. These kids think because they saw a little Johnny boy say or do this, that he has the right to do and say the same thing. No! Parents no longer tell their children the truth. You were born with 2 strikes against you already. For now they call that truth cooning, racism, and bigotry. Go figure. Now they fill their children's heads up with fanciful nonsense like, just think positive and work hard and you will achieve the American dream. But not understanding nor conveying to their children, fighting for your rights in the wrong situation will get you killed or at the very least, fired without unemployment benefits. Case in point, dads have forgotten to tell their sons about the click rule when the dirty oinkers got them in their clutches. What is the click rule, you ask? Well, when you feel and hear that extra click on your handcuffs, say absolutely nothing to the cop. Why? Because the extra click is designed to induce pain, thus designed to get you to buck. And because our children have been brainwashed not to see his enemy nor the 2 stripes written on your black skin at birth, they exercise their freedom of speech as though it ever worked for the black man, thus giving the police, through the secondary laws attached to the main laws, the additional charges they seem to always add on to your original charge. Through your action, it gives them the ability to handle your simple situation in a totally different level. No, it's not fair, but it's the price we must pay for our ancestors / our sins and the prize for enduring to the end. It's a psychological mind screw for them, really. And one of the main reasons behind the October 2016 edition of the Wall Street Journal's report called Students Flood College Mental Health Centers. The reason? Because now little Dismute and Shamika are not being pushed through the hood high school, to increase their success ratio, which allows teachers to keep their jobs and receive bonuses anymore, and get their first taste of reality. And they are losing their minds trying to cope, when they should have already had the armor of understanding on them when they were just knee-high to an ant. Well, I started writing this with the intent of doing Proverbs 15, as you can see. But as you can see, one thing leads to another with me. So I guess I will pick it up again soon. Thank you for looking and listening to me get that off of my chest. And y'all will look for the next video.